Are you trying to decide whether to put your kids in public school in the fall or to homeschool them? It's a hard decision, right? And everyone has an opinion and everyone has an agenda. It feels like you have homeschool moms who are telling you homeschool is the only way, public school will ruin your kids, it's the worst, but they haven't set foot in a classroom for 20 years. And you have public school stalwarts who are telling you that the only people that are qualified to teach kids are people who've been specially educated to do it. When we know the research is telling us that that's not necessarily true. I'm Brandy, and I'm the mom behind Aunt Bindy's bookshelf. I am a mom of two with years of experience in the classroom and as a homeschool mom. And I have been there, done that with both public school and homeschool. I've done both. And I'm here to tell you some of the differences as I see them with no agenda other than to help you choose what's best for your family. I'm going to talk about a few of the major differences as I see them, but if you have any questions or anything specifically that you're curious about that I don't cover, drop a question in the comments. I will absolutely answer it to the best of my ability. Now, that's something to note. Like everyone who has an opinion on anything, I can only speak from my experience. That's all any of us can do. I don't have kids that have ADD or ADHD or neurodivergencies. I can tell you what I've seen in classrooms, but that's not gonna be the full story, right? I can't tell you the full story. That's not where I am. Be leery of anyone who tells you that they know everything about any aspect of education. It's not possible. They can't do it. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't know the answer and point you in the right direction. This is a lot to cover, so I'm going to do this video in 2 parts. Check for the next one next week, and as always, I will put chapters in the description. Go ahead and check them out if you need to come back to something. Okay, here are the main differences as I see them. Curriculum. When you put your kids in public school, you're pretty much at the mercy of whatever curriculum the school district decided to go with. And they put a lot of time and effort into choosing those curriculums. I've been a part of multiple curriculum choosing committees. They really think hard about it. But here's the issue. Even if it's a great curriculum, no curriculum is the best curriculum for every child. How could it possibly be? There are too many learning styles out there. And once the district has chosen a curriculum, that's it. There is not much you can do to change it. So if it's not working for your child, it's not working for your child, and that's kind of it. And while being at the mercy of the public school curriculum is kind of a bummer, it means that you don't have to do all the research and gather the curriculum yourself. That can be overwhelming, and that's definitely something you have to do if you homeschool. Even if you decide not to use a curriculum and to pull the pieces together yourself, you still have to decide which resources are going to work best for your child. And you have to pay for it, which is obviously something you wouldn't have to do if your child were public schooling. It can be expensive. Now, I have heard of charters where they give you funds to pay for your homeschool curriculum. That's not something I have experience with, so I can't speak to that. And once you have paid for a curriculum, it can kind of feel like you're stuck in that curriculum for the full year. But you have the benefit of choosing a curriculum that works best for your child and adjusting as you go. And that is great. One of the amazing parts of homeschooling that you don't necessarily get in public school is that when you choose the curriculum and choose what you're learning on a day-to-day basis, you can really dig into the areas that your kids love. You don't have to just do a surface level like, oh, we've covered insects, or we've covered watercolors, or we've covered poetry. We got to move on. You can dig in. You can get into the nitty-gritty. You can spend a lot of time really enhancing your child's passions. Now, that said, there's gonna be a point, especially when you get to that middle school and high school level, when you're just not an expert on everything, right? No man is an island. No man is an expert in everything. And you're gonna have to get some outside help. Heck, I have degrees in biology, chemistry, anatomy, and neurobiology, and I still wouldn't teach my kids high school and middle school science. My skill set is fabulous for those general sciences, elementary science. I got that. But when you get into those upper level sciences, my skill set just isn't current enough when we're getting into those little details. So the point being, even if you're skilled at something, really look at what your skill set specifically is and find experts to help in areas that you can't cover. One more benefit to choosing your own curriculum as a homeschooler. Very few public schools go with a play-based curriculum. There's just too much of a push towards academic rigor these days. And there is so much research to show that's not the ticket. That play-based is in fact the way to go, especially if you want to create long-term learners, if you want to create kids who have a passion for learning. Research is showing that play-based is the way to do it. So if you're homeschooling littles, you have the ability to make a play-based curriculum, and that is going to pay dividends for years to come. Differentiation. In a public school setting, kids are divided by age rather than by skill level. And in that age range, there can be a lot of different skill levels, which means we cannot just teach one lesson to the whole class. One lesson that some kids are past, one lesson that some kids aren't ready for. We can't teach that, so we have to differentiate. Now, I want to be clear, differentiation does happen in public schools. Some really staunch homeschool is the only way people will tell you that it doesn't. That's not true. Differentiation does happen. I have seen amazing groups where groups of teachers will get together across multiple grade levels. They'll divide kids up by skill level rather than by age for some subjects. That works great. There are some teachers who are amazing at creating differentiated centers, so kids are getting what they need. But let's be honest, it's a lot of work for teachers to differentiate, and teachers are already overworked. We're already asking them to do too much. And some schools don't have the systems and structures in place to differentiate effectively, which means that if your kids are on either end of that skill level for that age range, they're probably not getting what they need. If you homeschool, there is a really good chance you're still going to have to differentiate. Unless you only have one child, or you only have one child that you're homeschooling, you're going to have to differentiate. Because sure, you might only have one second grader, one 8-year-old. But again, you have multiple kids over multiple different age ranges. So you're going to have to figure out a way to teach one subject multiple different levels, or you're going to be teaching that one subject multiple different times. That's actually how come when I created my activity packs, I created them the way I did. It's one book with different activities, all from preschool to second grade, because I've been there trying to teach two different kids at two different skill levels, the same subject, and it's a lot. So you're going to either have to figure out a way to do that yourself or find a system that does it for you. But there's a good chance you're going to have to differentiate. Now, the plus note is that unless you're really prolific, you're not going to have 25 to 30 different kids you're going to have to differentiate for. And you're going to be able to tailor that to your child's specific learning needs much better. Extracurriculars and socialization. Now, I know a lot of parents are really concerned that if they homeschool, they're looking to get their kids just what they need for extracurriculars and for socialization to make sure that they have those skills. And I'm not going to lie, that's a valid concern. Now, you'll hear staunch homeschool parents say, oh, public school kids are never socializing anyway. They're just at their desks all day. Don't even worry about it. And there are public school parents or teachers who will be like, oh, homeschool kids are so weird. They never get socialized. They just are stuck at their house all day with only their mom and their sisters and brothers. Big shocker. Neither of those are true. Public school isn't a labor camp. In a well-run classroom, and most classrooms are well-run, in a well-run classroom, kids are up and working in groups and problem solving and interacting. They're not just chained to their desks all day. And even if they were chained to their desks all day, they still have art and PE and music and lunch and resources. There is an inherent socialization built in to public school. That doesn't mean that homeschoolers can't get socialization, that they're just going to be weird kids who are stuck at home with mom and their siblings all day long and that's it. When my kids were little, we were in a co-op with other moms and we did something with that group of moms and kids every single day. My kids were as well socialized as their peers, if not better. Now, it was a lot more work on my end. There wasn't that inherent aspect just built in. I had to do the work, but there are resources out there. You can take classes. There are classes just for homeschoolers. And in fact, a lot of places love that because homeschool kids can come in during the day when business might be slow otherwise. And in my district, homeschool kids are welcome to do sports with the local public schools. Those don't start until middle school where I am, but I'm going to tell you that once you're on the team, no one cares where you went to school. It's super common to have kids on your teams that don't go to school with you, and that is an amazing way to make friends. Now, every school, every state, every district is different. Check out the regulations where you are. I know some states don't let homeschoolers participate in public school sports, which is a bummer. But even if that's the case in your district, there are so many things available in this day and age. 4-H, scouts, club sports, classes, homeschool co-ops. There are a million ways for your kids to get out there and get socialized if you're in homeschool. You have to put in more effort as a homeschooler, but the opportunities and resources are there. And I think that's the key to all of this. Homeschool is gonna be more work. It just is. Anyone who tells you that it isn't is lying. And there might be a time and a season in your life when that's just not feasible for you. And that's okay. You need to do what is best for your entire family. And anyone who judges you for doing that is not someone you need in your life. They're the ones who are wrong, not you. Make sure to check back next week or look in the description. I will link it in there for part 2. We're going to have 3 more main differences. In the meantime, if you have any questions, if there's anything that I didn't cover that you really want to see, drop it in the comments and we'll see you next week.